Hi, everybody's watching. I would like to just leave my perspective on this whole issue where people are trying to help others to wake up. And it's you just see a lot of this. People are kind of getting really frustrated that they can't get through to their loved ones. Their loved ones think that they're crazy. Um, or putting things on social media. There's this constant desire to help people to wake up, um, especially if we see ourselves as the star seeds, that it's our responsibility to help others wake up. And my perspective is that we're not here to help others wake up. It's not our job, it's not our responsibility. And in my perspective is that these people need to stay as they are, and everything sort of has its own course and layers. So for example, like there's people waking up to the fact of waking up to liberal policies and switching sides to more conservative, or recognizing that they are more conservative, they've always been, and realizing that um, they've been lied to by the liberal side. Um, well, that's waking up. That is awakening, but that's awakening on a political side. That's still 3D. And then there's awakening to sort of how I was awakened. It was kind of in stages as well, where I was never really liberal, but I kind of woke up to not hating Trump. When he was first elected, I was also feeling that anger and hatred for no reason, other than I was just absorbing it from my environment. But then something switched. One of his action, which was like moving the embassy, that was the switch for me. Um, and then there's layers to waking up. So when we say when we want people to wake up, what do we want them to wake up to? I've had conversations with people on social media who are conservative, they're pro-Trump, but then September 11 was still done by Muslims, right? That whole thing that it's an inside job, they still not going to go there, and it's their right. I feel people's perspectives is their right. Um, And if you look at it another perspective as well, it's like they are needed. Everybody's needed. Like the Joe Biden supporters are needed because it gives a perspective. Like, how can it be that everybody just all of a sudden becomes pro-Trump? What would that even look like? How is that even possible? We need a position because from what we're understanding, we are a plan of duality. So we need to see both sides. We need these perspectives to pull us back and forth. And if we have the opposite side, then it strengthens your own position. Um, we always need the opposite. And there are people who are also in the truther community, which I personally have a very strong feeling against what they're doing. But they also have a place. I can keep trying to convince this particular person, but thousands of people love him. And all I can speak is my own truth. That's all I have, is my own truth, what's in my heart, what I strongly feel, and that's it. I don't have the right to change him or these thousands of people who are so in love with everything that he's saying and doing. I kind of see it as it looks nice right now, but it will have negative consequences in the future. But I sort of have a mind, I've always had this mind where I sort of can see the fuller picture. I can see things from the front, the back, the sides, the top, the bottom, the angles, the shapes, the colors, kind of see, the full, like things that most people might miss, most likely will miss. And, like the elephant in the living room, like that's how I grew up. I grew up in a family where I could see the elephant in the living room and they could not. I even told my cousin, like when I was 16 years old, I was at his wedding. I could see this marriage is gonna fail, and it did. I told him, you can see it, like you can see it on his wedding dance. Like there's just no connection there between these people, other than the fact that they're living a cookie cutter lifestyle that's expected by a culture, and they're put in a position of the elites with money and status. It all fell apart. And I saw it coming. I was 16 years old. So that's just that, but that's just me. Um, doesn't mean I have the right to go and change somebody. I can see that with my own brother and his decisions. But I'm no expert. I've made my own mistakes, I guess, if you can look at it. I mean, I'm not a saint by any means. So do I have the right to go and keep trying to convince somebody to change, even though I see it a certain way? Um, even though like I can see it. I can see them suffering. I can see, like, I can give them all sorts of advice, but it's not going to change them. They have to make it there. I think a responsibility of a star seed is to maybe plant those seeds. That's what we are, star seeds. We're planting the seeds for people in their subconscious. So if you share a message, it's just a message to plant the seeds. If you start arguing and debating and trying to convince somebody why you are right, you're hurting that message, because all it turns into is like this battle, which pushes the other person away. And everybody on social media wants to debate. You can see, like, sometimes I leave what I feel is my opinion. Right away somebody responds, well, I don't agree with it. I feel like, I don't care what she agrees with me or not. I speak my own truth. It's going to remain, and that's it. I left and whoever resonates with it is going to resonate with it. Whoever doesn't is not going to, or they might later on, because you planted that seed in their subconscious. um I can go on and on with examples, like with my own mother. You know like I'm a therapist, and I've done my own therapy for myself. And in the therapies, a lot of self-help books, we are taught that it's important to assert ourselves, to confront the person, to let them know how you feel. Communication is everything. But if you're a starseed, I was just thinking about this yesterday because a situation came up with my mom. If you're a starseed who's capable of looking at things objectively from all different sides, imagine taking all of that information and communicating that to a person who sees things from one side. Will they receive it? I've done it many, many times with my parents, trying to explain where they've hurt us. None of it was received ever, no matter how I presented it to them, ever. And now that my own awakening happened, and understanding everything is a matter of frequencies, that if I want to change a behavior in my mom, it's because that behavior bothers me. That means it's me that needs to change. I need to change that state. Like it hurts me. That means I need to go within and release that hurt. And as a consequence, or as a result, the behavior around me changes. Not go directly to her and say, like yesterday, she's like, how could you yell at your own dog? How could you yell at her? She's so ill. And my first instinct was to say, well, how can you yell and brutalize, abuse your own children. Like, I really wanted to say that to her. Um, or, you know, did a lot of things. There's no need to like go into details. But like, how can you do that to your own children? There's so many parents that do horrible things to their own children. So if I actually said that to her, what kind of response would I receive? Most likely it would have turned into a huge outburst from her, um, a huge fight, which would hurt me even more. It would have lowered my frequency. So instead, I just kind of zipped it, saw that, the effect that it had on me, and I went to my room and I just meditated on it. Um, I'm sure that hurt is not gone 100%, so it just gives me more opportunity to just sit down and address it with my heart. That's where that's where it belongs. Um, so that's just my perspective.